Hello, Maverick traders. Welcome out to your market roundup. January 22nd, Corey here with you. We're going to take a look at the markets from a top-down approach, what news is out there, what sector rotation, what's strong, what's weak, how are the markets moving, and then as always, we're going to highlight our best bullish, neutral, and bearish ideas. One of the benefits to trading options is that ability to make money as things go sideways.
Hello, welcome to the Maverick Trading proprietary trading firm. Have you been trading with disappointing results? Have you put in tons of work and effort without the reward? Do a few bad trades wipe out your good ones? At Maverick Trading, we turn retail traders into professional traders.
Now, let's take a look at what happened today. Kind of a quiet day, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all about flat. But look at the Russell, up 2%, small caps. Now, small caps represent value. There's a big value versus growth divergence here where growth had been leading. Rob and I did the full year forecast video, and we did that last week. Many of you probably attended live with us. It won't happen every day, every week, but that gradual rotation, and by the end of the year to have IWM and have those small caps outperforming seems likely to me. Trump versus Haley is now the bid for the presidential candidate. It's down to those two. DeSantis has dropped out of the race over the weekend. And then the SEC shed some light on how their Twitter account was hacked and what exactly happened there. Bit concerning that somebody could hack in and do that. And so the SEC has some things that they need to answer for. Advanced decline line, about 70% of stocks going up. And the 50-period moving average, about 70% of stocks still above that 50 MA. So we're still in an upward trend overall. Let's check out the S&P. So we went through a consolidation. We needed a breather. We had been on a big run. We consolidated those gains sideways for a few weeks and have since broken out to new all-time highs. If we look at the NASDAQ, same thing. Consolidated for a few weeks on a broad market basis, but ultimately broke out to the upside. Sector heat maps. A little bit of red in the consumer cyclicals, certainly underperforming Tesla, Home Depot, Nike, and bookings.com. Some outperformance in industrials. You can see a little more green there, maybe up here in the healthcare space. But overall, kind of a mixed bag. Again, like we talked about, it was an up day, so there's a little more green than red, but it wasn't a major day by any means. The trend continues to the upside. No reason to not be bullish yet. We're sloping upward in the moving averages. We're above the 20. We're above the 50. We march on. Possible trade ideas. We're going to highlight a few bulls and a few bears today. On the bullish side, I've got Berkshire, EWJ, which is a Japan ETF, the small caps. So a couple of market or sector type of plays there. Alcoa, Bristol Myers, and Mosaic on the bearish side. So first on the bullish, here's Berkshire, and I think this is one where, again, we've kind of consolidated. It's like this wedging pattern to the upside. And I think Berkshire is not one to zoom. It's like a big conglomerate, tends to go sideways a lot, but if there was ever a time where it could take off to the upside, I suspect this is it. And ultimately, I do anticipate more upside. So whether it gets the big burst or just kind of a grinding price action, I'm bullish one way or the other. My personal outlook would be more bullish than normal, kind of a +2 type of outlook. On the small caps, notice a deeper correction than S&P and NASDAQ, but bouncing more sharply here over the past couple of days. So we're just starting to see that rotation that we talked about. Really good volume characteristics as you've started to move up. And I anticipate a push at least up there to 205 and probably ultimately higher than that. Might consolidate around 205 for a bit and then push higher still. But IWM, small cap type names, up 2% today in a sideways environment. Nice relative strength. As we look at the bearish side, Mosaic. So if you've been paying attention in the materials and really agricultural space, it's just not performing. I mean, look at this trend. Look at how we're back to the lows, even though the market's at highs. I mean, that's not what you want to see. We're consolidating kind of a low base. I would expect further deterioration. If you look at a company like Archer Daniels Midland, a lot of news out of ADM this morning. The stock was down like 20%. Why did it get hammered like that? Well, possible CFO problems, and anytime your chief financial officer is under some, the SEC is kind of investigating and he has to step away and so on. I don't know if the numbers, I mean, that sometimes the bark is louder than the bite and it's nothing and it blows over. Sometimes it's a pretty big scandal, but certainly investors were fleeing. And even before that, the business is just struggling in some of these names. So, as we look at our outlook, markets have pushed to new highs. Expect further rotation into things like small caps. Not maybe every day again, but over time, I would continue to expect that's a little bit better area to look at for new trade ideas right here, right now. Core PCE on Friday. This is the Fed's inflation indicator. They follow this much closer than they do the CPI numbers, for example. It's expected to be at 0.2, which is a little bit of an uptick. The markets are pricing in a March rate cut from the Fed, and yet we're expecting inflation to tick up a bit. I just don't know how these things jive. American Express, GE, IBM, Intel, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Netflix, T-Mobile, Tesla, Union Pacific, Visa, and Verizon. So a lot of companies, and those are just some of the major companies reporting this week. We are right in earnings season. Hope you enjoyed this market roundup. Have a great week ahead. We'll see you next time.